Alright, so this video I'm gonna be watching over some games from Scrims and Ludi. Um, I'm just explaining kinda how I think about the game, what my thought processes are. A lot of it is from feel and intuition. Because Wiper is such a fast, instincts only weapon, it'll be kind of hard for me to explain why I think the way I do, um, except unless I say like it just felt right in the moment I went for it. I'll try my best to uh, say why I did each play, but it is just like uh it felt right in the moment. I'll just go for it. So this first game is a subs off game. Um, so I won't be playing as fast because I don't have QR. I don't have as much uptime with Subsaver. So immediately noticing two mid lines, very strong into Wiper. Stamper Squeezer, very hard for me to fight. So I do want to be careful of those. I see it on right. I don't want to push it. It's got a wall up. Right now I'm just waiting for our cooler to come online. Then I can start playing aggro. Our crab goes up, two go down. I go for this kill on the pen and the shot jumps. Now, waiting as a QR weapon, it might, even though I have QR, not in this game, but like even if I did have QR, I would have waited for the cooler anyway, just because like it's so valuable. It's much faster than QR, etc. Right here, since Mahi zone's kinda unplayable until the water goes down, since we won the first team fight, we get a free hold till 60. I build my special here, and I'm kind of playing this right area. Normally, I would play further towards the left. However, we do have a bucket that also likes to play there, and I don't. And overstacking the area isn't great. But bucket's far away, probably gonna strike soon. So I do take this ledge, and I'm gonna hammer, get the squeezer, try get another with a throw. I do try get up here, but squeezer lasers me down. I noticed that our bucket is behind them, so I do try take kills and set up a pinch, but they do go down. They know where I am, so they do laser me. That's unfortunate. I go for cooler and I drop left, drop right. Uh, this is a place I like to retake a lot from because there are so many limited spaces on Mahi. As the most flexible and fast moving weapon on the team, I kinda have the freedom to take right side. Obviously, it didn't work, but right side had so much favorable geometry that at least one person taking it is good because then you can pinch zone. You can kind of force them out of their right side onto your more favorable side. Since our bucket does strike the zone, I do take the space it's made and walk up. You see me taking right side here, trying to just be a nuisance in their face, and then I hammer through, and I notice the squeezer and immediately respect it because I am in hammer and I am very vulnerable. Even though it's higher than me, I know it can sometimes work if I just rushed onto plat, but I didn't feel comfortable, especially with all of them respawning. So I just throw the hammer. I wasn't really aiming for anything. I was aiming for the squeezer, but I don't expect like hammer throws to work all the time because it's very inconsistent. Go back for cooler and just heal here. I do take top right here, but go down. I do go down with cooler, so that's fine. These kills were just like uh luck based, like the torp one and the zip. Right now, we're just setting up for a hold. Our bucket's playing on right, so I do shift over to the left a bit. Don't want to step on his toes too much. Our splash is top right with a crab, so basically the only play, and I'm just watching for drops on left. They do crab on right, so I know that they're gonna want it retake from left. I do see the pen up there, and possibly another one. I do take one down. I see the squeezer that's dropped. Now, normally pushing any shooter with hammer is bad, but with an element of surprise and it being a semi-automatic, it is a lot safer, especially because strikes are coming down. I do get both of them, and then the pen can't really hold. And then we just play zone and we win. Now, from around 20 to 0, I just started playing for the KO. I didn't try make any aggressive plays. I just played to lock them out of their plat, lock them out of zone, and just keep them to their plat. And yeah, that worked. Now, this is a game where I don't get the best KD, but we still win quite convincingly. Maybe it was a carry, but there are elements where I create space without getting kills. So, I do see the squeezer on right. I do have to respect it because it's got its wall up, and it's just because it's a squeezer. I'm just waiting for cooler, playing pretty passively. I see one on right, and I'm just throwing torps here because as a wiper, if you don't know what to do, like, best thing you can do is throw torps. Like, gets info, clears spots, does damage if it locks onto someone, paints really well. Like, there's nothing really bad about throwing torps. I do get this shot on right, I catch it out. It is the easiest weapon on the opponent's team comp to kill, because, like, can't really fight anything, just as its nature. I do run up here and run out of ink. This was probably, that was on my part for not, like, getting used to, not having as much ink recovery, like ink saver, stuff like that. In this situation, I get really low with hammer, and I immediately decide to back off. Most of the time, and I just bail. Most of the time, I feel like that wouldn't work, just because hammer's such a committal special, but it does in this situation. It's always good to try. I do get a throw off. It's always good to throw instead of letting it go, run out. Just playing this right street area is really useful because, like, I'm not exposed to anything. I can see their rail area, and I can throw torps to clear that right side in case I want to take a fight. Just waiting for cooler here. Now in this situation, I hide behind the screen. Screen's really good at good for wiper, just because you can walk up behind it and surprise people. So after the cooler, we do cooler screen here. In the second, yeah, cooler screen. I walk up behind it into their court. The pen doesn't see me until I'm right in their face. Well, I don't get it. It's still the play idea was there. So now I do catch the squeezer off guard. This was a pretty aggro jump. My team is pretty far away, so I do concede here, pick up clams. Just play pretty passively here. I'm not afraid to burn hammer this freely. A, because it's a mid special, and B, hammer's an 8-second special without special power. 8.5 usually is the amount with one sub, so it's it's one of the longest specials in the game. So just popping it prematurely so you don't get that pop startup, that startup time, really useful. You can hold it for a while. I do end up throwing it here, but there are times where I will just shark with hammer. Do get a bit greedy for the kill. I see the sword on right, so I do want to go fight after I get cooler. I throw a torp there just to confirm its location, but my team confirms the kill. We do score here, and I know that the pencil's on right. Now, this cooler is very pivotal in this game because they just wasted cooler because I have control of the area. If I don't let them grab the cooler, they don't have cooler for a very long time. That is me holding this cooler area is very important because if they can't grab it, they won't have cooler for a good portion of the game, right? So that's that's another reason why screen's so good. You can hide behind. I hid behind the screen. I pushed up behind it. They didn't notice I was there until I saw the pen throw the sprinkler through the screen. I immediately ran through and I caught the pen with the cooler out. Um, I just as long as I hold this cooler, they won't have cooler for another minute or so, which is really valuable, especially because they don't have any feeder weapons that would make aggro plays without cooler. Um, I do go for a hammer here. Changing targets like that is more an intuition thing. Whatever feels better. I think this was the sword, so I do feel more. Oh yeah, it's the shot. But I do feel more comfortable chasing the shot, especially because it wasn't looking at me. I do miss because hammer's hammer. I do make an aggro jump, but I do die, obviously, because I see the sword on the left, and I just throw torp. I'm playing very passive here. They have a lot of specials online. They're coolered, so I can't really afford to go for trades because if we trade, um, they are coolered. I'm not. They still have advantage. I do get late cooler here, and I just start playing aggro. Um, I go up right because there's a lot of space here. Go for the squeezer. I do whiff. Again, take this right space. It's really important. This space is quite important to just hold mid. Our pen likes to sit up here, so obviously want that for them. That double jump was weird. I think I just jumped to the wrong person. I do get one accidentally with Torp. The screen's really useful here because I can reposition without the pen seeing me or the squeezer being able to see me, so I can freely move around without being at risk of getting repositioned. Here, I run up street because there's no one watching it, immediately get to catch the ball out. I do get one, and then the other jumps. In this position, we're really good. They do have while they do have overtime, very hard for them to get back in. I do wait for overtime to begin so I can score, just so that if I had scored earlier, they would have gotten overtime. They would have gotten uh, an extra pity and an extra chance to push. So waiting till overtime to score so it ends quickly, great idea. Alright, so they're running RB instead of a sword this time. I prefer playing RB is really good for a wiper to play against. Hammer, the torps, the fast movement, all really favorable into a range blaster. So I throw torp over. It does get caught out immediately. There's so much chip in this comp to where that it can like let's do that. I'm waiting for cooler here. I don't want to make any aggressive plays since like I am a wiper and all four are looking at zone. As soon as I get hammer, I rush for the hammer weak weapons. These are the pencils, and it's the pencil and the range blaster of this comp. I will confirm a kill here just because of how hard it is for a range blaster to counter hammer. Right now I'm just playing in this in front of zone area, trying to stabilize the team, especially since we're one down. I try to go for a timing on the Zuka, but obviously doesn't work. One runs through on zone. Our team's I'm just fighting with the gal here. The last that is running is pen, and that's really important that we kill it, because that will mess up cooler timings, that will slow them down on the cooler, which teams that don't have a QR weapon generally just wait for their cooler to play aggro. I do drop down here because I am getting wary of the range blaster. While I do have a favorable matchup into it, it's still a very strong main weapon, so I do have to back up here. I do have hammer, so I am gonna go for the Zuka on right. If there is a Zuka within range of me, I will often try to go kill it just because it provides so much value for the team. If it looks at me, it's a wasted Zuka because they'll be shooting me instead of shooting the team. And if it shoots the team, I can cancel out the Zuka. So in either situation, if I am in a space to start fighting at the Zuka, it will be of some value. I do go down here, but 2 of the shots are wasted on me. Now I haven't grabbed cooler here, so I do go for a late cooler and make an aggro play. I know that there's one left. I do mess up, but cooler, safety net, back in immediately. There's a Zuka, so I am wary. I will go right here just to throw torps. Throwing torps all the time is really important. I do go for the pen kill. Pen and RB in this comp, like I said, very weak to hammer. Pen, less so. It can still shoot you underneath, and it did. But with me rushing the pen so fast, it didn't have that much time to react. And I do catch out the last straggler. The squeezer, I don't really want to fight, especially because our pen's cooler a bit far back, so I do go back for it before starting an aggro. Here, Kraken, Zuka are popped. I immediately run because since they're not in their main weapons, it's going to be very hard for them to punish me. So, one shot is two shots of the Zuka are soaked up by me. That's very good, especially because they could have been pointed at the zone where they were trying to retake. One's Kraken zone. I do die here, but it is with cooler, so I can come back immediately. The stream comes up on zone, so I can take up a lot of space. I hammer behind the screen because it's so useful. I see the shot. I want to go for it. I get a kill. And right here, I'm just gonna start to play zone. I would have started to play zone, but I do go down to the range, and we don't hold on here. But as a retake, I do, as I see the Kraken go through, I know that left side is weak because of where I see the enemies are, right? There's a Kraken on zone, there were... Yeah, so I see a Kraken on zone and a couple shots cutting from the left, but they're looking at the zone. So I know that zone is kind of weak, and because Kraken's pushing through, I know that intuitively that they want to walk through zone with it. So I do drop down onto the left with Cooler. This is a very common flank, so most people will check it. But because they're walking up with Kraken, I do catch them not looking. Our gal went around on the right, so we do have a pinch where our pen and our bucket's on one side of the zone, gal and the wiper, me, are on the other side of the zone, and we do clean up the squeezer, and then we punish the Kraken full wipe. Pinches with wipe, setting up a pinch like that with wiper, very good. And in comms, I was probably yelling, I'm going behind them. My teammates know that I'm going behind them, and they know how to play around that. We do take very good positions here. I like taking this bottom left area, just because it's really ratty to play around, especially because you're on low ground, and as a wiper, that is kind of favorable. I do punish the Cooler here. It does get out, which is unfortunate, but they do have to walk pretty far to the zone, and we just win from here. Right, so this set is from Ludi, so obviously subs on here, and we're playing a slightly different comp. Since subs are on, I'll be playing with QR, I'll be playing a lot more aggro. Immediately, notice there are two short range shooters. Very good for wiper. I will want to be taking fights with them because I can just win most of the time. Throw a torp over mid just to clear it for my gal. Top mid, very good. It's a very common place people want to play, and throwing a torp there, especially with the gal up top, will scare people off. I see one left, but since we're playing really passive, just waiting for Cooler. Once I do get it though, I start to push up top mid. I don't chase the kill immediately, but since my team there, I do get a bit more aggro. We do go down though, which is unfortunate. I drop into this left pit area just because it's nice to play in as a wiper, both on offense and defense when you get into their pit, but obviously do get killed. I see the sword on right, but I don't really want to challenge it, especially alone. I'm just waiting for Cooler. Now here I go up top mid, or try to, but then I go right. They're giving all this space for free because we do have crab. So I'm going to be walking up here, just trying to build special. I do get caught out here by a bomb and toxic mist, but I am back quick with hammer. So do have hammer. I see a bubble here and I immediately want to hammer it, just because I know people are going to be inside the bubble. If not just the junior, probably more because they'll want to play inside it. See, I do catch one. I see one leaving, so I do. In hammer, if you want to turn fast, you can quickly squid form, then turn. It's a lot faster than doing a full turn. That's how I got that junior. They do go two down here, and I clean up the shot with my gal. And then, while it isn't as strong as pit in zones, This pit is very strong to play in as a wiper because you can threaten Torp onto their plat, onto their basket, and you can threaten so much. Just having control of this area makes the opponent really wary, and it also cuts out like an entrance. I know lots of people don't like to push from here, but it does cut off an entrance. I do go for a hammer onto the junior, which I have a very good matchup into. The edit, if it was paying attention to me, it would have shot under my feet, but because I came in so fast, didn't. And again, the shot could have punished me, but since it wasn't looking, easy kill. I do take space with my dually here. They do go down, so I do have to back up. I back up onto Silo. Silo's a really good spot to play on. Now, I wouldn't play on it as a wiper as often because you can't do much from here. Your bomb can be shot down easily. You don't have that much range. I would rather the dually here, but just having control here so that you can swap places is very strong. I do fall back here because they do crab, so we do have to concede some points. See the push? It was a very good push from us. We are still building econ. Since we have so much map control, just picking up clams really important. I'm trying to hold top mid here. I do get a hammer pick. I don't want to contest the edit because it was firing, but now that I know it's swimming away, I do want to contest it. If the edit is firing, I will never go for the kill. But if it isn't and swimming, if anything is swimming, I will most likely try go. Now I do pivot onto the junior here because it was calmed, and that is a much more favorable kill. So I do throw hammer, throw torp, just bully it into corner. Now we do have a lot of econ. They are one down. Well, I don't have that much econ, and we can win with the clans we have right now, minus me, or get very close to KOing. So I'm not too pressed about making a ball. I do want to have some control over basket. Just painting for my team right now, trying to build hammer. They do run in, and we win.